everyone.
What's up guys, Unofficial MCU here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing a brand new tease for how Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels, is going to set some major things up for Avengers 5, The Kang Dynasty. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hop right on into it. In this video we are going to be taking a read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As I read, according to a new interview, The Marvels will set up a key Avengers of the Kang Dynasty and even Avengers Secret Wars plot points, one not unfamiliar to Ms. Marvel fans at that from her comic book origins. Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus made a key change to Kamala Khan from her comics origin, and that powerful and as of now fairly mysterious bangles unlocked her powers rather than the inhuman Terrigen Mist, making her origin story essentially comparably from the MCU of what we see in her Disney Plus show versus the comics much different. Fans already knew that the bangles have the ability to pull things across from other dimensions, both from the show they were introduced in a 2022 report from last year about Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels. The report continues revealing that the pulling from various dimensions will lead to bigger things from the MCU in Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, and how that's going to play a very major and pivotal thing not only with the Marvels movie but also going forward and for what we're going to see with the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. In a recent interview with Total Film magazine, filmmakers on The Marvels corroborated a rumor about Ms. Marvel's power unlocking bangles ushering in a new key plot point in Avengers the Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. The villain's actress of The Marvels, Dar-Benn, who's played by Zhao Ashton, says that it will acquire the bangle, and that is a sister piece to Kamala's own, with the how and why of the acquirization being teased by the director of the film, Nia DaCosta, as she said that, in quote, "They'll get enough of the story of how and why Dar-Benn has acquired the bangle," ending that quote right there, making it out to be a pivotal and major plot point for the Marvels movie of other powers and villainous characters trying to take away the powers of the other characters, such as the Marvels, like Captain Marvel or Ms. Marvel seems very specific in this case. Producer Mary Livanos had added that the bangle, if compared with the right other power, has the potential to force a temporary hole in space and time to lead to somewhere else, while being a dimension jumper essentially, and that this ability it definitely leads to plentiful opportunities for the future of the MCU. As she says that, in quote, "In Ms. Marvel we learned that the bangle, paired with some other form of a power, can force a temporary hole in space and time to lead to somewhere else. With the power of both bangles, more is definitely possible, and we see the culmination of that over the course of this movie. It definitely leads to a plentiful of opportunities for the future of the MCU, whatever the Avengers and Secret Wars teams may want to do with them," ending that quote right there as an overall harnessing power of that you're able to take Ms. Marvel's powers, the bangle, and kind of pair it up with other powers in the MCU with other characters and other superheroes or other Avengers, and it kind of has different outcomes is a very interesting concept to even think about, and seeing how that comes into the MCU and how that's going to play out in the next Avengers film feels very interesting. I think for what I would want to see with the next Avengers film, the Kang Dynasty, is something that is more down to earth, very similar to kind of what we saw with Avengers 2012, the first Avengers film, of where you have the OG original 5 and the kind of just taking on a everyday threat in a way. I mean, comparably to what we see in the MCU now, something though, however, that is more scaled down compared to what we last saw in Avengers Endgame. But that's really just my thought, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. The producer DaCosta did admit to Total Film magazine, as she continues in saying that she has no idea what they're going to do in the Avengers movies, though she has lots of different thoughts, saying that, in quote, "That's a question for Kevin Feige. I have lots of thoughts, but I actually have no idea what they're going to do in these Avengers movies. I do know that those guys who are doing that watch the films, see what we're doing. I have things I really want to happen, but I'm not sure." Ending that quote right there, giving us more inspiration, not more inspiration necessarily, but just that hopefulness of that, yeah, the MCU is going to continue to remain that interlockedness that really makes it a cinematic universe, and seeing how the other directors or producers and writers in this case do take from the other projects, not just the movies, but also the shows as well. Meanwhile, Livanos, the producer, had teased something similar with a little more certainty, revealing that there's a definite danger danger afoot in the Marvels that could affect the overall multiverse, and that they are definitely ending our characters in places that allow for a plentiful opportunity in a future Avengers film. As she said that, end quote. The plot of the Marvels deals with some fluctuations in time and space, and there's a definite danger afoot that could affect the multiverse. Where it all leaves is a bit of a spoiler, and exactly how it all pan out in an Avengers movie is currently being figured out right now. But we're definitely ending our characters in places that allow for a plentiful opportunity. Ending that quote right there, the first thing I immediately thought of when I first read this was that this movie sounds something kind of similar to what Thor Ragnarok was. Sure, there are still a couple of years until we're going to have the next Avengers film, but seeing that they want to set these characters up at least for how we see them and lead them directly into those events of what we may see with the Kang Dynasty Avengers film is very interesting to think, and it's kind of hard to believe that it's already maybe kind of upon us at this point. But I do think of Thor Ragnarok, the third Thor film, in this scenario because of, I feel like that was kind of the first project that really set the things up and that overall tone and theme for what we were going to see with Avengers Infinity War, even though it was still about a year or so out. It definitely sets things up to lead right directly into the events of Avengers Infinity War, so I think that we have an opportunity to see this very similar thing here happen with the Marvels film as well. Now, this year all being said, the Bangles' role in Avengers 5 and 6, trying to take a look at this and explain it just a little bit more, with the exploration of the Bangles' ability to transport things across from different dimensions coming in Captain Marvel 2, much more speculation about the plots of Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 films are possible at that. The producer, Olivinois, had revealed that the Bangles make a hole in space and time to lead to somewhere else, a different dimension. The ability to travel and transport across universes was already explored in depth in the 2022's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and the dangers of doing so will likely be key plot points in the upcoming second season of Loki, also explained. And as fun as it is, they aren't necessarily able to explain everything in a simple Disney Plus show, because not everybody watches the simple Disney Plus shows. For sure, with Loki Season 2 and Disney Plus shows for the MCU overall, we are able to get the most exploration and explanation out of these different key components here that would have more answering questions, I think, for going forward in the rest of the MCU inside and out of these upcoming Avengers films. As such, it wouldn't be surprising in the culmination of the current multiversal saga continued this conversation. Further, particularly as it pertains to Avengers Secret Wars, it would connect the film to its namesake. Jonathan Hickson's 2015 Secret Wars comic run dealt with what would happen if every multiverse converged into one, with the transportation of objects, people, and full societies across dimensions. Given that the Bangles have been revealed to be capable of a similar plot point, it doesn't seem out of the question looking ahead, but things would get messy, and they might have to even do a part 1 and a part 2 to something like that, especially if they take big inspiration from the comic book run on that end of things. However, until fans see the Bangles getting closer to their full-on potential in the Marvels movie, this will of course all remain speculation until then. This year all being said, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys want to see with the Marvels movie, and for maybe how it has the huge potential to set things up for Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars? I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, guys, and thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial MCU. Have a great one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.